Okay, welcome to another training session with 123 Bookkeeping Solutions here in Austin, Texas. Today we're going to talk about the undeposited funds account. Undeposited funds is a subject that can cause a little bit of controversy and confusion amongst bookkeepers and CPAs. Undeposited funds, me having a bachelor's degree from the University of Houston in accounting, undeposited funds, at least when I went through the program, it's just something that wasn't really taught. And so it's not really an invention of QuickBooks. It's just a sensible solution to deal with batch deposits. What I mean by that is if you are going to accept, obviously you're going to accept check payments from your customers, or, if you do, and you accept multiple check payments, they're sitting on your office desk, you haven't deposited them yet. You're probably not going to want to take them to a bank and deposit one check at a time. You're going to want to, deposit all of them at the same time. So in between the time you've actually received and applied payments to your customer open invoices and the time you actually deposit the checks in your bank accounts, they're just undeposited funds. In other words, there are funds that have not yet been deposited into your bank account. And so we're going to, in our training session, we're going to deal with that both on the QuickBooks Desktop version and also the QuickBooks Online version as well too. And here's our QuickBooks Online sample file. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. Let's go ahead and, we're going to, in our little fantasy world, we're going to go ahead and receive payment. And the first customer we're going to receive payment from is going to be Hendro. And Hendro happens to owe us $42.23. So we're going to go ahead and receive payment from him. It doesn't really matter in our date here. And we're going to go ahead and click on Save and New. Now, just to let you know, there is a setting in your preferences that you can actually tell QuickBooks on the Receive Payment screen here exactly where you want the payment to go, okay? Right now, it automatically goes to undeposited funds, okay? There's no setting here, so it's automatically go to undeposited funds. That's pretty much what I would recommend, to not ever fool with that setting, because if you do, then you're going to have another box open up here, another little custom field, if you will, that is going to let you choose exactly where the payment goes. And a lot of times people make the mistake of leaving it on a bank account. And so when it comes time to reconcile the cash, it makes it that much more difficult because you have all these individual payments or deposits to reconcile versus a batch to payment, which is what's going to show on your bank statement. Okay, so I would say don't really worry about this setting, this little customized field that would show up in your preferences. In other words, setting your preference for that. So where this payment goes, it's going to go to undeposited funds, and I'll show you here in a little while. So let's go ahead and receive this payment here. And we're going to click on Save and New, because I'm going to go ahead and receive one more payment, and this time it's from a Ecker Designs, and we're going to say 1468.30. Okay. And I don't really care about the, you could say check payment or whatever, that's fine. And that's it. So we're going to go ahead and receive those two payments right there, and we're going to click on Save and Close. Now, let's say it's a day or two or 5 days later, we're going to go ahead and take those two payments and we're going to deposit them into the bank account. Okay, so how we do that, you could just go to Record Deposits here, or you can come up here and say Make Deposits, either one. Okay, and when we do that, this little pop-up opens up, and in our little world here, we actually have 4 payments, but let's just say we're going to skip 2 of them for now. We're just going to deposit these 2 checks right here. Okay, so these 2 checks this is a cash payment. This is another check payment here that was done previously. We're just going to ignore those for now. Let's say they're still sitting on our desk. For whatever reason, we decided we're not going to deposit that right now. We went ahead to our bank and we deposited both of these. Okay, the total deposit is going to be $56.91.30. So we're going to click on OK. Now you choose exactly which bank account to deposit to. Okay, in our little world, keeping it simple here, we just have one checking account, unless you want to deposit in the savings or something like that. Anyways, but we're going to choose the bank account and exactly which day. We actually received it on this particular day, but in our little world, let's say we waited all the way until Friday, okay, to make this deposit. We're just going to leave our memos alone for now, and you can fill in this other stuff if you want to. That's basically it. Then you just say, okay, we're going to go ahead and deposit this into our bank account, and there you go. Okay. Now, if I go to our checking account and I click on checking, you can see that our deposit occurred or will occur on this day right here, 56.91.30. Okay. So one more thing I want to show you here is there's actually an asset account here. This is your undeposited funds, okay? You can call this like a temporary holding account, okay? Or check sitting on your desk account or something like that, okay? If you actually ever delve into this account and click on it, it really, everything should just be in and out, okay? It should just be an in and out type of account, okay? All the decreases and increases should always equal each other. Right now, there's an increase, there's a balance, a positive balance of 2440. That's because though there's two check payments that have not been deposited yet. In other words, they haven't been flushed out of this asset account, okay? And to show you that, if I go to make deposits right here, here they are. I select all 2440. Let's say I go ahead and deposit these two payments right here. Let's say I deposit these on the 21st, okay, whatever. Now if I click on save and close, bam, it goes to 0, okay? So this is really, I think, the basic thing that confuses people is dealing with undeposited funds. A lot of times people won't reconcile their checking account for an entire month. And so when some poor soul bookkeeper goes in and actually tries to, reconcile, he's going to see a lot of money, in undeposited funds. I've had clients that waited, they didn't flush this out for years actually, and you got like hundreds of thousands of dollars in undeposited funds. That really is going to kind of skew up the balance sheet, and it also could skew up your profit and loss as well. So this has to really stay in tip-top shape here, okay? If undeposited funds is ever anything other than 0, that means there's an issue. And it could be the issue of you just haven't made it to the bank yet, or if you know that, there's no deposit sitting on your desk, then, and it still says another amount, a negative, positive, whatever, there's definitely an issue that needs to be cleaned out, okay? And this is definitely one of the more abused accounts, primarily because it's just misunderstood, okay? But you have to take the seriousness of this account right here, okay? All right, so I've said enough of my my plead here, and let's go ahead and go into the QuickBooks Online right here, and we're just gonna, basically the concept is the same here. QuickBooks Online looks a little bit differently, especially in the make deposit screen. So let's go ahead and do this here. Let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and accept payment, and this time we're just gonna go to Gita right here. We're gonna say receive payment. There we go. And basically in QuickBooks Online, you have this little, where to deposit to right here, and you can choose checking, savings. I always would advise people to leave it in undeposited funds, okay? Just like QuickBooks Desktop, leave it, don't mess with it, don't put a bank account here, because again, a lot of people, they forget to change this little setting, and again, something doesn't reconcile, and it just takes a little while to undo the mistake rather than just, do it right obviously do it right the first time, ask questions before you do something type of thing. So we're going to go and receive this little payment right here. And we're just going to click on save and close, and we're going to click on one more payment here. We're going to try Freeman. And Freeman owes us money for different jobs, okay? We're going to go ahead and receive payment from this job right here, okay? And I'm not going to be concerned about the payment method here. And again, it automatically populates on the receive payment screen here. It just automatically populates. Assume you received the full payments, and that's fine. Again, for our purposes here, let's just keep this simple here. Again, keep this in undeposited funds. Click on save and close. And then now we're going to go ahead and make deposit. So I want to get rid of this and go ahead and make the actual deposit. And here you just click on other bank deposit. And the thing about QuickBooks Online undeposited funds, it definitely is a little bit more confusing than the QuickBooks Desktop because you don't get that separate pop-up right here, okay, that shows you what payments are available. All you get is just basically a screen that you have to choose from. The problem with QuickBooks Online Undeposited Funds is it doesn't really do a good job of separating out what hasn't been deposited with what is deposited. What I mean by that is if you ever go to a previous deposit and open that up, not only are you going to get that deposit, but you're going to get also all the undeposited stuff also on this, all on the same screen. And that, that definitely could cause a lot of confusion. Anyways, let's stick with what we're doing here. So we're going to choose this one right here from Gita and also from Freeman. I think it was this one right here. Yeah, 619. So the total deposit is actually going to be 1106.60. This is the total. This is something else that could be confusing in QuickBooks Online. The total that you see here, they're saying, well, you've got really 3169. Well, I'm only going to deposit 1106.60. Okay, so that's your selected payments total. Always remember to select your date up here. A lot of people miss this, and it's an easy thing to miss. Again, QuickBooks Online, so many apps, nowadays, everything is just kind of this rectangular looking, and it doesn't really kind of stick out. So a lot of people miss this up here as far as setting the date. So let's just say we want to go ahead and set it for, 624. And then if you want to add anything manually down here, kind of on the fly, maybe do a little merchant discount right here as well too. You can add that in here. And that's basically it here. So, I'm not going to fool with any of this other stuff right here with cashback or anything, but anyways, but that's it. So we're just going to go ahead and click on save and close. And, if you go on the bank account, I can show you the bank account. That is really, let's just keep it simple. Go to the chart of accounts right here. Whenever I look at a bank account here, I always like to just go to the chart of accounts. I don't like to do the register view. What I like to do is go to the checking accounts, go click on run report. Okay, a report view gives you a view where you can see a lot of things at the same time. Okay, really convenient. Here's our checking account. Now, this is what I was trying to tell you earlier. This is our deposit for 1106.60, exactly what we just chose. And let's say I'm going to go ahead and click on that and see, well, what made up that deposit? No problem. So if I click on that, it's going to take me there. And you can see what I was trying to tell you earlier, that not only do you see what made up that deposit, but you also get a undeposit stuff here as well. So it makes it it can be confusing actually, okay? Because again, you don't get that separate pop out like you do in the QuickBooks Desktop version. And the other thing too that could be confusing about QuickBooks Online Undeposited Funds is a lot of times you have another area up here. If you're accepting credit card payments, that area will also come up here and it'll stay automatically closed. You actually have to click on the arrow to open it up and expand it, and you'll see all your undeposited merchant payments as well too. A lot of that could definitely get missed. So keep all that in mind. Okay, so I'm my interest here is done. So I'm just going to go ahead and just get out of it. And then again, let's go to our chart of accounts here. So let's go to transactions, chart of accounts. And I'm going to go ahead and look for the undeposited funds, which obviously an asset account, okay? And here it is right here. It's in other current assets. And again, I don't want to view the register because again, if I view the register in anything, all you're going to get is the register view. You don't really get kind of a holistic view of everything, and it's kind of more tricky to actually try to do anything in the register view in QuickBooks Online. So I just want to get out of this. I'm going to just kind of back browser out of here. And again, I want to find my undeposited funds. I want to click on Run Report. Okay, that again, more of a holistic view of everything. And you can see, just like in QuickBooks Desktop, undeposited funds should be in, out type of thing. The end result should be 0, okay? And if it's not 0, that means there's still deposits waiting to be flushed out of undeposited funds. So again, just like in QuickBooks Desktop, if this is ever anything other than 0, that means you got to investigate that to find out which deposits just haven't made it to your bank account. And if you have somebody externally doing this, and who knows what's happening. So that's basically it. So if you have any further questions for me about undeposited funds, just email me anytime at david@123books.biz. Thank you.